Well, we got through season 7. Not everyone was bad in this season, but it's very hit and miss. But the awful episodes do get quite awful. The characters here are really starting to get a lot more one-dimensional and mean-spirited, and this only gets worse as we get into season 8. So, let's just get started on it. Shall we? Before we begin, I know some of you want me to review the movie, but I'm saving that for another video. But what this episode does do though is to try and reference the movie, which is kinda neat. But anyways, the main 6 decide to open a school where every creature can learn about friendship. However, in order to keep the school open, Twilight must follow some very strict guidelines by the association. So, the main 6 try to handle the school and make sure that they don't do anything that goes against the guidelines. But this proves to be very difficult and the school gets closed down. Now we're back at the point where season premieres or finales are not S-tiers. This one was bland with mediocre characters on top of that. We got another C-tier people. After the school gets closed for not being safe, Twilight must find a way to bring back the school and fight against the guidelines. I'm surprised how well this episode went. Not gonna lie, I thought I would hate it. I love the new group, but everything was kind of the same. I don't have anything else to say. It's just an alright B tier. You know what's weird? The new theme song starts on this episode. Why didn't it happen for the first one? Did they just run out of ideas for what to add for the new intro for season 8? Well, at least this one was alright. But let's not get off topic. Pinkie Pie finds out that Maud has a boyfriend whose name is Mudbriar. But there's a bit of a problem. Pinkie is not quite a big fan of Briar after holding up the line earlier in the episode. Pinkie tries to get along with Briar, but it doesn't quite seem to work out. Once again, Maud is a great character, but the other characters are annoying. It's not that bad though, so I guess this is a B tier. Oh man, our first bad episode of the season.
Did somebody say bad?
Yes, I did. But why are you here?
Season 8 is the most hated season, so I thought I'd join you to rank these!
Well, okay. So you can explain why the episodes are bad, and I'll say what this episode was. So, Rarity asks Fluttershy to take care of her boutique while she's out. But Fluttershy has no idea how to manage the boutique in a professional manner. So she tries to get her confidence up by playing several different characters that cater to specific customers, but she gets a little too carried away with these characters, however, and Rarity and the others must try to figure out how to get her to stop.
It's a totally live ensemble with the little, thingies that sparkle and make the whole squad go, whoa, that pony is woke.
Your wordplay is Bugs Bunny if he was drunk and depressed.
Well, first of all, there are so many plot holes here. In fact, there are so many that I can't explain all of them. And second, both Rarity and Fluttershy were awful here. With these two factors combined, it's gotta go D tier!
Rainbow Dash begs Applejack to take over her classes so that she can ride a roller coaster in Las Vegas before it closes for good. I'm not going to say the actual name, but it is inspired by Las Vegas. So, Applejack agrees to take over her classes, but under one rule. Rainbow Dash must take some grannies along for the ride. So, she spends the day with the grannies at Las Vegas while also trying to get on the ride in the process. Oh boy, what an episode this was. This episode was better than the first one actually. Not to mention there are lots of cameos in this episode. Try to spot them all. I definitely like this episode so much, and I'll happily place it in S tier.
Team Swap.
The Cutie Mark Crusaders are called by the map to help a hippogriff with figuring out where he should live. Twilight also tags along as the Cutie Mark Crusaders obviously can't just go all this way alone. Well, I do like to see the hippogriffs in the show style, and that gives this episode a lot of bonus points. But the song was so bad and it kind of made the episode worse. But everything else was fine, so I guess that means B tier. Twilight and the others try to set up a school play for the students to watch, and Twilight decides to cast Celestia as the main star because it has always been her dream to act. But her acting skills aren't the greatest though, but Twilight doesn't want to tell her that. So she tries to keep the play going with Celestia as the main star. I gotta say it.
This episode was dog dookie.
You had a great concept, and you ruined it with everyone being stupid. What Celestia said before she flies off applies so much to this season, and it definitely applies that I'm putting this episode in F tier!
Team Swap.
Starlight and Sunburst are called by the map to their hometown, but they have no idea what the problem is. Along the way, they come across their parents who they find very annoying, and we get to see how they deal with them.
Yeah. It's bad! We know! All the characters are annoying! The plot is stupid! And the episode is forgettable! I don't have anything else to say! We agree with you! It's bad! Slap this episode in F tier and let's skip it! My, oh my! What do we have here?
Rainbow Dash and Applejack both have to lead a field trip about teamwork, but they both want to teach the students different things. So basically this entire episode is just Applejack and Rainbow Dash fighting throughout the entire episode.
Man, this just might be the worst episode I have ever seen. It was not entertaining to watch at all. It's like Applejack and Rainbow Dash got reverted back to their season 1 selves for this one. I thought they were past this petty stuff.
Yeah, and there's even one scene where they put the students in jeopardy, and yet they still do it.
It just makes me wonder about how this episode was even thought of in the first place. And seeing the young 6 being left out throughout most of the episode, and one nearly dying, just makes me feel sorry about them.
Not only that, but Applejack and Rainbow Dash are immensely dislikable every time they engage in a petty contest or an unnecessary word feud.
And you know what the worst part is? They don't get punished for this at all! This makes the ending terrible, where they fight again!
So in conclusion, this episode is the most disappointing, least fulfilling, and most frustrating episode known to mankind. Slap it in F tier before I rage hard. Now sorry to disappoint you guys, but I need a 2-minute break. I'll put a timer on the screen and you can skip it if you want. Alright, I'm all better now, so let's move on to the next episode. Another Valentine's Day special. Big Mac wants to have a good day with Sugarbelle and have some plans for what to do with her. However, he manages to overhear her talking to Miss Cake, and it seems like Sugarbelle is actually planning to break up with him. This is so relatable. I usually have to go through what Big Mac experienced in this episode. But it wasn't about dates, it was about the future. Big Mac was so good here, but this episode felt tame again. So, I guess C tier is fine. Spike starts to get red spots called molts, and he's confused about what's going on. According to Smolder, this is normal and it's just a sign of dragons getting older. It's basically puberty if you're wondering. And so we see how Spike deals with all this happening to him. Once again, this is another sick episode. And I mean both Spike being sick and this episode being awesome kinda reminds me of the Health of Information episode. For that alone, and also being the episode where Spike gets his wings, it's an S tier. The Cutie Mark Crusaders really like Twilight's new school and want to get into it and switch from their old school due to Twilight seeming more fun. But since the Cutie Mark Crusaders already know so much about friendship, Twilight doesn't allow them to attend the school. This results in the Cutie Mark Crusaders trying various different methods on how to get into the school.
You know what I think of this episode? Well, it makes me go. Because Twilight was so oblivious here.
This episode felt so weak, but not as weak as the bad ones. So I'll say D tier. The Changeling Queen is back once again from Season 6, and she wants revenge again. She ends up creating clones of the main 6 to try and help her out, but they end up being the real main 6 members. Well, what we see for the rest of the episode is the main 6 believing that the clones are their actual selves, and then a fight starts because of it. This episode was nowhere near as bad as the D tiers and F tiers because the concept was amazing here, but the best they got in this season so far was fights. I'm being generous here with a C tier.
Team Swap.
After all the main 6 get called by the map, Twilight leaves Starlight in charge of the school. But it turns out that Discord really wanted to be the one in charge instead. So because of him being jealous, he makes Starlight's job super difficult for her.
What are these episode concepts? Who came up with this?
You know, I wonder if it was... You know what? Probably not.
But anyways, this is torturous. I don't think I can take any more of this season. These episodes need to get better soon, or things are gonna get ugly.
This is an F tier if couldn't already tell. It's Christmas time again. It's also mystery time again somehow. The young 6 are about to go on break for Christmas. However, someone pulls a prank and Twilight has no idea who did it. And so she has all the young 6 clean up the mess while she talks to each one of them to find out who pulled the prank. You all can probably tell who I think did it.
Let's put a little trouble in their way. Troubley, troubley, trouble-ray.
But sadly, that didn't happen. Why can't these episodes be good anymore? The backstories were good, so that's a C tier at best. Twilight discovers that there's another school in Las Vegas and is shocked to learn this information. And so, she and Rarity head to the other school, only to find out that not only is Star Swirl here, but this school is owned by the Flam Brothers. Despite them being in 3 episodes, they get exposed once again. Now, I really hope I don't get backlash for this, but I actually kinda enjoyed this one. My standards are kinda weird sometimes, and I can't figure out why. If this was part of Season 3, it would be a C tier. But since this episode is better than that, I'll throw it up in the A tier spot. While Rainbow Dash and Rarity try to teach the students a lesson, They realize that they don't have much in common and start to dislike each other as a result. And so Twilight tries to figure out a plan on how to get Rainbow Dash and Rarity back together. So, is this episode any good?
No! It's just non-compete clause again!
Try being original next time. F tier.
And now, we're at the most controversial episode of the entire show, and I can kind of see why. Pinkie was out of character completely, and the whole episode was an absolute mess. But how did this happen exactly? Well, Pinkie Pie gets addicted to a new instrument which is supposed to be a bagpipe. However, she isn't quite good at it and starts to cause disruptions all across Ponyville. And you think the main six would help her get better at it, right? Well, wrong. They actually tell her to stop playing altogether instead. This causes Pinkie to get upset that she can't play her instrument anymore and plans to leave her friends. And so the others try to track her down and cheer her up so that she can return. This episode is literally nothing. The lesson was so wasted here, and there was only one good joke in this episode. Want to know what it was? Well, it's this one.
Give me another.
But Pony already had 25 ice cream.
I said give me another!
I mean, that joke was alright, but it definitely deserves an F tier. That sucked!
At this point, I might as well have given up on finding more good episodes in here. Let's try to power through it. Trixie is offered to host one of her magic shows that is far, far away. And because of that, Trixie doesn't want to go alone. And so, she decides to bring Starlight along with her for the adventure. But along the way, they run into so many problems and their friendship starts to fall apart.
Hey! Remember! Thanks for the memories! Remember when Rainbow Dash increased throughout the entire episode? Well, in this one, Starlight and Trixie decrease throughout this episode until they fight with each other!
Why? F tier, obviously. Please get me a good episode again.
Dang, that's 4 bad episodes in a row. That's a new low. What are the odds? But anyways, Scootaloo starts to become obsessed with a new flight group called the Washouts. They do a bit more dangerous and wild stunts than the Wonderbolts, and Scootaloo enjoys this way too much. In fact, she wants to become one too. But Rainbow Dash, being oblivious, isn't a fan of that because she loves support from Scootaloo.
This episode is literally just 22 minutes of Rainbow Dash being oblivious and Scootaloo torture. You think that's good? Of course not!
I don't even respect this episode. It's just bad. Period. F tier.
Can this episode save us from the losing streak we're on right now? Well, let's find out. So, with Rockhoof being limbo for thousands of years, the wood has obviously changed a lot since then. And so, he tries to adapt to the modern world. However, with him still being used to the ways things were in the past, he struggles with this a lot and starts to question his purpose in life. What the world? But anyways, this episode had an okay concept.
But they ruined it, as always. I could literally replay the audio of me saying that for half of these episodes, and it would freaking apply.
Yes, it would! But anyways, this episode had enough decent moments to earn a D tier on this list.
Finally, a good episode. I was staring to get worried. The young six are trying to study for an exam, but then they find a mysterious area beneath the school. They get intrigued by this, so they go into it, only to realize that it's a test about overcoming your fears to help your friends. This episode completely breaks our losing streak with so many great moments. Here's what a troll would say about this one.
I just like it. I like the episode too. A tier blushes, smiles, blushes again.
Team Swamp.
Yes, but actually...
Come on! We're burning daylight!
I know, but what I found out is that...
Now we gotta get up that peak. I figured if we use some rope and elbow grease, we can make it up half.
Applejack! Can you please listen to me?
Applejack and Fluttershy are called by the map to a little village with species called Kieran. And it seems like they are all completely silent. And for a good reason, apparently. Autumn Blaze loves to talk, though. And so Fluttershy and Applejack try to restore the village to its former glory.
But guess what? While doing so, they fight the whole episode.
Huh? F tier.
I am next level mad.
Finally, back in my comfort zone. Spike's father crashes in Ponyville, and Spike is super excited about this as he has never met his parents before. Spike's father then starts to teach Spike about how to be a real dragon, and Spike loses sight of his true self in the process. I know this might be a controversial take, but I actually did like this one. But if you try to criticize this...
I'm your father.
Sorry.
Then I'll make you watch Rob point towards the flight deck.
Right over here.
But you know what I think of the plot twist at the end?
I call bullshit!
But besides the plot twist, this is a B-tier episode.
Don't worry, Twilight. I got this. Free pizza delivery!
That's too low even for me to pick.
But anyways, the magic starts to stop working and they have no idea what is going on. The main six think Tyrek from Season 4 would have something to do with it, and so they head off to see if he has done anything or gone anywhere. Meanwhile, the guideline guy returns and thinks the magic is disappearing because of some of the students not being ponies.
Mind you, the channel's main audience is children!
But later in the episode, it's revealed that it wasn't actually Tyrek making the magic disappear. It was actually Cozy Glow. I really like the concept here. The only thing I wish that could have happened is that the wings could have been gone as well. That could have been like the return of Harmony Part 1 extended. But I guess bakers can't be choosers. This episode is an S tier despite it being in the 8th season. The main six learn about Cozy Glow stealing the magic thanks to Tyrek spilling the beans. And so the main six must now get out and get back to the school to stop her. But they fail in the process. Meanwhile, Cozy Glow continues to steal magic from everyone, and everyone must stop her. You all probably get it when I say that Part 1 is better. So you all know where this needs to go.
Smiles. A tier. Smiles more.